Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lives with Sandra Lee. And I'm really excited to be sharing with you today my lovely effervescence, beautiful and orange guest, Vickie Magic. Welcome, Vickie.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you so much for having me on your little show today.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. So, and it's a return thank you as well. Vickie runs a podcast that she interviewed me a couple of months ago. And we had a lovely chat then, and we've got a lot of things common in what we do in our professional business and a lot of things different as well. So Vickie, remind myself and the viewers again, what is the name of your podcast? Beg your pardon, slipped my mind.
That's okay. It's called Wake Up to What Matters.
Wake Up to What Matters, yeah. So so we can put links of that as well as your work and stuff when we go live with this interview.
Perfect.
So, yeah, lovely. So I'll introduce Vickie to you now. I've known Vickie for a long, long time. Many people on Sunshine Coast know Vickie runs a very successful magazine called Business Matters. And as well as that, Vickie is passionate about inspiring herself and others to rid themselves of the monkey mind madness. And she'll elaborate a little bit more on that a bit later on. So that's the voice in the head that tries to sabotage us. And Vickie works every day with struggling that voice herself and with her clients. And she has a 7 superpowers framework that she shares with her clients to help empower them and be free from that monkey mind chatter. And it's about long-term change, and that's a lot of the work Vickie does with her NLP. She's a trained NLP coach and a Hypno something certified. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm guessing, is it a hypnotherapy? Just a bit of a joke you had with your notes.
No, it's Ho'oponopono. So Ho'oponopono is a work that was actually began by Joe Vitale. And it's a really, really, really powerful word. So the Ho'oponopono itself actually is from Hawaiian background, and the word itself means it's please forgive me. So it's actually about wiping the slate clean. So for a lot of people, especially couples that I work with, and also people for themselves, they have to actually start fresh in forgiving themselves for past. So Ho'oponopono certification is all about that.
Oh, wow, Vickie, thank you for clearing that up. I thought you were having a little joke when you wrote that, so...
No.
That's awesome. Yes. And there's no way I could have pronounced that. I'm the dyslexic in the family. So you're also ICF Accredited, which is International Coaching Federation, if I got that right.
Yes.
And life and business coach. Owner of the Inspirational Magazine, as I mentioned, wife, mother, and an all-round lover of life. So welcome once again, Vickie. Thank you for joining.
Thanks a million.
Yeah. So I started this Lives of Sandra Lee after running my Age Strong, Young and Healthy Facebook group for, 8 months or so. And I realized, that we have so much collective wisdom as we age, in particular over 40, there's that lifetime of collective wisdom. So that's how the Lives of Sandra Lee started. I want to be able to tap into women that have had those life's experiences and to inspire other people. And naturally, I thought of you. So we'll bounce around a few subjects, have a very strong passion for healthy aging, and we'll just see how we go from there. So I noticed that in some of your notes that you sent to me, Vickie, you mentioned that you lost 49 kilos. So I really want to congratulate you for that, because I know with working with women in my Pilates business and also my coaching business that weight is a huge issue for women over 40. So can you share with us a little bit of your journey around your weight loss?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to be honest, it started in a coaching session that I was giving. And the lady that I was working with in that session had been trying to do something for a very long time. And the language that she used in that coaching session to me, and in coaching sessions that her and I had 6 months leading up to this particular session, it was always, I can't. And she would reiterate why she couldn't over and over and over again. And during that session, I really helped her to turn that I can't into a how can I. And I got her to really look at, rather than reminding herself why she couldn't, to ask herself that question, how can I? And to think about if she knew anyone on the planet, in her life, in her world, that had actually successfully done what she was trying to do. And so we did a bit of a brainstorm in that session as to, you know, the people that she knew that had achieved success. And by the end of that session, she was so positive and so inspired that she could now take this on and really successfully do it. And on my way home from that session in the car, I remember thinking, oh my God, that's me, about my weight. And I actually stopped the car and burst out crying. I really got emotional in how I had been saying I can't for over 10 years about losing this weight. And so when I got home, I sat down and myself wrote on the top of a piece of paper, I can't, crossed it out and wrote, how can I? And I really did a brainstorm on all the people that I knew who had successfully lost weight, and looked at what they had done, and looked at what I would do and what I could do and what I was prepared to do to actually make this happen, because I had said I would be prepared to do anything, but clearly I hadn't done anything. And I had actually known a lot of people who had had the gastric sleeve surgery. So within 24 hours, I made the decision that that's what I was going to do. And within 48 hours, I booked it. And within a month, I had the surgery. So that was a year ago. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. Yes.
It's the best thing I've ever done. Absolutely. But, you know, it's not a magic pill. It wasn't simple. It's still, you still have to do a lot of work. It's still a brain thing about eating, because the truth is you can actually eat anything still, you just can liquidize it. So, you know, there's still an opportunity for failure there.
Yeah.
So it's still definitely hard work, but that's how it came about, and that's what I did.
Yeah, congratulations. So, and yes, so it's not for everyone, there's no doubt about that.
No.
So, and you've been, I imagine, multiple ways of losing weight and being healthy along the way there. So let's take that back then. So, you know, losing that weight and feeling great about yourself and bringing that back into healthy aging. So can you share with us your definition of what you consider to be healthy aging?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that healthy aging is about living your best life at the end of your life as well. Like a lot of us, and I have friends like this too, that when they get to a certain age, they decide that this is over, that is over, and the other thing is over. And I think healthy aging is actually reminding yourself to live life at both ends of life, you know, so it's not just when you're young, but I believe that we can actually be really young when we're old. And that comes down to that monkey mind, you know, that chatter in our own brain where we tell ourselves that we're too old for this, too old for that, and too old for the other thing. So I think a way to age gracefully and to age with youth is to really make sure that we do the fun stuff when we're older as well.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I interviewed Krishna. I know you know Krishna.
Yes.
Last week, and she's fun. She rollerblade, roller skates. Get it right, Sandra. And I totally agree with that. So I found that as you know, my kids grew up and moved out of home, I think I was always a fun person, but you know, it can be a lot of seriousness bringing up children, you know, and setting the example. And I well and truly have given myself full permission now, you know, over 40s, over 45, where it's all out for me, totally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think actually along those lines too, Sandra, that it's actually really important that we set an intention for fun, that we, you know, set an intention for, hey, what can I put in place today or this week that I know that is going to be enjoyable for me? And as we get older, maybe those things aren't as activity based as they used to be. Like personally, I'm not going to jump out of a plane ever again. And I did do that, you know, back when I was younger. But it's even about setting an intention for, oh, I'm going to have a massage this week, or I'm going to go and treat myself to a facial or yoga or Pilates or that sort of thing. For me, those things I like really look forward to and are fun for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm all for the scheduling it. Like my boyfriend schedules nothing. And I'm always, come Monday, I go, what are we doing on the weekend? Because it's Monday. I go, yeah, but it's all about this forward planning. And, fun things for me. Like we even just like going to Brisbane, and we love the motorised scooters. So not overly active, but still a little bit active, but a little bit extra motoring along to.
I love that.
Yeah.
I actually, we went for a walk along Kangaroo Point. My son lives at Kangaroo Point, and we saw those, and I said, I want to do that one day.
Vickie, it's so much fun. Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. They go fast too. They go up to about 30 kilometres those.
Wow.
Yeah. So is there one specific thing that you do every day without fail that, contributes towards your healthy mindset?
Yeah, absolutely there is. So up until I lost the weight actually, or started losing the weight, which was June 2019, that's when I started.
Yeah.
And it took virtually a year to lose it. Prior to that, I used to run, and I ran half marathons. I ran a marathon once as well. Yes. And I always had this thing in my mind that running would help me lose weight. It never did, because I kept eating.
That's what everyone tells you. Yes.
Funny that. Yeah. So since then, I actually have given up the running, and but I walk every day. So every morning I walk from my house up to Point Cartwright and back, which is around about 5K.
Yeah.
And halfway through, I sit at the point up at Point Cartwright, and I always do a meditation where I set my intention for that day and practice gratitude. And, for me, that walk and that meditation, that stillness, that quiet time, that really connecting to my unconscious mind really sets me up for success in my day and in my life.
Beautiful, yes. And I'm all for physical movement, every day. And as you know, I have a Pilates business, so I do my Pilates every day and stretching. But one of the things that COVID has given me is every morning I go down to my little village at Perugian Beach, and because I did it every day all through lockdown, and there was no one there, and it was amazing. So it was this connecting to nature, even, it's down at the village, but lots of local native trees. And it just gave me such an anchor through that time. And it's calm, it's peaceful, it's not non-body work, because I can tend to do too much body work.
Yeah.
So that's my morning routine that absolutely sets me up. And if I come into my office and not do that now, I'm a bit antsy, a bit toey. So yes.
And I think I really hear you as well, Sandra, because part of my walk and the reason that I walk the way that I walk is that all the way along I get to look at the beach and hear the sounds of the waves, and it is that connection to nature that really calms me. I love nature, and I love, even more than that, water and the beach. Like, to me, living 45 seconds from the beach, I'm so grateful for that. I'm so lucky. I know there's so many people in the world that would give their left leg, maybe not, to live so close to the beach, and I get to do that. And so I'm really, really present in the gratitude of that.
Oh, same, absolutely. We're very fortunate to live where we live.
Yeah.
So let's still have a look at my notes here. So if you've got one, what is your personal struggle with aging, and what are you doing about being at peace with whatever that struggle is?
Yeah, so my struggle actually is that recently I turned 60.
Woo-hoo!
on the 19th of July. And I think that what that presented to me was, I mean, there was no pain around it as far as, oh my God, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It was an absolute honor to have gone around the sun that many times. And so I'm really grateful for that. And there's no part of me that is sad about that age or anything like that. But I think what it presented to me was my mortality and the fact that actually I'm on the other end. I'm on the, and I don't want to say this in a morbid way, but I'm on the way out. And, you know, rather than being on the journey in, you know, if I live to even 100, that only gives me less years left than I've lived. So it's really presented this mortality issue to me. And what that has presented to me struggle-wise is, oh my God, I'm running out of time. Oh my God, there's not enough hours in the day to get done all the stuff that I want to get done for my life. And so, yeah, the struggle is this race against the clock and this race against time to get it all done.
So how do you use that struggle then to make use of that?
To drive me forward, yeah. Look, I do actually make sure more than ever before now to maximize my time. I now live especially my day, my working day. I actually start my working day at 5 a.m. every day. And so I get up and I do at least an hour to an hour and a half work before my walk, which is around about between 6:30 and 7:30. And so I've already done quite a significant amount of work before most people have even opened their eyes. And that's purposeful because I know that time of day, nobody's going to be interrupting me. Nobody's going to be wanting to talk to me. My husband's still asleep. And so I really get that a lot done in that time. And I break my day into 90-minute segments. And so that's my first 90 minutes. And it has to be uninterrupted planning of my day. And then I actually, from around about 9:30-ish, my day begins in the office. And so I move physically from the kitchen to my office, which overlooks a beautiful tropical swimming pool area, which is lovely, nice working environment. And I then slot my day again into 90-minute sections of what I'm going to achieve in that next 90 minutes. And so for me, that's really given me that possibility to ensure that I'm maximizing my time and getting done everything that I need to get done. And I'm a ticker. So I like to have my list. I do it on a thing called Trello.
Yes.
And then I tick it and then move it.
Yes.
Like into the done pile. And I love seeing the done pile be complete. So yeah, that's the way that I've been really trying to make sure that I'm really getting stuff done every day. That's not just activity, but productivity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I know what it's like, that really relates back to you maximizing this running out of time thing.
Yeah.
You're passionate about what you do, and you want to wake up and do that thing every single day.
Yeah.
I have a goal to wake up at 5 every morning as well, and just through winter it's snuck down to 5:30, and sometimes it's lay in bed till 6. But then I get frustrated with myself because I've lost that time, and that's that precious time, and then that will lead into my time, my morning, my coffee down the village, my morning walk, my morning Pilates, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So
well, the way that I got over that, because that actually did happen for me for a while as well when I first started on that journey of the 5 o'clock, was I actually just made it non-negotiable. It was not negotiable. I had to get up. And it's really interesting because what I started to do was, when I very first woke up, I trained my brain to go, oh my God, I'm so excited. I've got all these things to do today. I can't wait to do it. And so sometimes I actually wake up at 4:30 and go, no, I'm getting up right now because I've got so much to do and I'm so excited for the day. Yeah.
So what's, from your point of view and experience, what is a most common mistake that women make around aging and living their life?
Look, I think the most common mistake that we all make, me too, is sometimes that, again, voice in our head that tells us why we can't. And I think the mistake that women make as they get older is that they make decisions with their mind about their body. So they decide that they can no longer do this or that or the other thing. They decide that they're too old for this or that or the other thing. And so I believe that whatever we tell our minds is the truth, our body then goes, oh, cool. Okay, let me just respond to that truth. You know, you said we can no longer run. Okay, let me just respond to that. Yep, we can no longer run. So for me, when I did decide that I didn't want to run anymore, it wasn't a decision about physically not being capable to. It was a decision that I wanted to be kinder to my body. And so I made the decision that I would walk instead of run. So I do walk at a really fast pace. But I think that, one of the mistakes that I make, that we all make, is that we make decisions with this, for this, that we then just have to live into that decision that our mind made, which might be not a truth. And one of the things that I love, and this was a James Wedmore thing that I absolutely love and have taken on fully for myself, is that when we feel uneasy or when we feel sad or when we feel down, what is the lie inside the belief that we're currently believing that isn't resonating with the universe? Because the universe wants perfect for us. And so if we're believing a lie inside of that belief, then we're actually out of alignment with the universe. And I love that, because that gives us the opportunity to then say, okay, what's the lie I'm believing right now that's making me feel this way? And what is the truth that I can step into right now? And I think that's a really gold piece of information that for me, I now really tell myself all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And I talk about the stories that we create in our mind. So it's a similar thing, the lie. So let's have a look at what is that story? What's the polar opposite of that story? Where's the truth in the middle of it? Also too, you know, that lie, as you know, as a coach, it's usually designed to keep the person safe and small for whatever reason. And
I think as well, Sandra, is when we begin to realize that we can just as easily make up a new truth and step into that, because our minds don't actually know the difference between a lie and the truth. It just believes what we tell it is the truth. So that when I kind of really got that and realized that I could create a new truth, that was a piece of gold as well.
How powerful is that? And interestingly, when you start thinking like that, how easy is it to do? You know, sometimes we need to do some other little tweaking, you know, looking back in the past and all that sort of thing. But sometimes it can be just a physical shift, you know, and a perceptual expanded awareness that will help shift that neurology in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually in the beginning it isn't easy, but I think that the more that you practice it and the more that you do it, the easier it does get. Certainly some of the people that I work with in my coaching, in the beginning, they're like, oh, I don't know how you do that. I can't do that. And anything that we start doing, you know, even if you want to start being a goalie, when you first start taking goals, you don't necessarily get it in. But the more that you do it and the more that you practice and the more that you take goals, eventually you can almost throw the ball without even looking. So I think it's the same with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's that giving your mind the convincing information that it needs.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So we talked about, can you tell us a little bit more about the monkey mind madness, and where did that come from? And what are you doing with that to share?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. So the vehicle or the framework of the work that I do is these 7 superpowers to break free from that monkey mind madness, which is the voice in our head that stops us, that sabotages our success and also sabotages our happiness. And so that's the framework. So it is these 7 superpowers, which are, do you want me to tell you the 7 superpowers? Yeah. So they're the power of now, the power of surrender, the power of choice, the power of love, the power of courage, the power of belief, and the power of gratitude. And so the work that I do within that framework is all about taking us in each one of those superpowers from where we currently are, which, for example, I'll just do the first example of the power of now. I won't go through all of them. But for example, a lot of people in the power of now, the learnings that we take there are taking people from really living in the past, being angry, frustrated, or upset about something that maybe happened yesterday, last week, a year ago, or you know what, in some cases 20 years ago, or even 50 years ago. And so what we do is we bring those moments or incidences into our now, and that causes us upset. So the work that we do within the power of now is learning how not to do that. And the other side of that is so many people who live and struggle with anxiety, with overwhelm, with stress. It's totally because they are bringing the future into their now and worrying and stressing and getting upset about what if. And so learning to master living in the present moment is so important and so powerful. And for me, I definitely, because I'm human, and the people that I teach as well are human. And so we go back into being frustrated and angry about the past or worried and stressed about the future. But with this tool, with this superpower, you just don't stay down as long. So instead of, sort of staying down for a week or a day or a month or whatever, you actually are able to get yourself out of it quicker. And so that's this whole framework of these 7 superpowers is actually about not never going down, because that's just unrealistic, but it's about not staying there. It's about getting out, really having that tool to go, oh, I'm going to use the superpower of surrender here, because I know that I'm now focusing on, and surrender is about focusing on an outcome instead of, and often an uncontrollable outcome, and being completely driven towards that expectation that we have. And that's where all the upset lies. It lies in the fact that we don't live into an expectation that we had about something. So this is about, surrendering isn't about giving in, giving over, giving up. It's actually about us giving up the expectation, but totally committing to the process and the actions. Yeah. So it's really powerful. So this whole thing is about getting rid of that monkey mind madness that is keeping us playing small, that is sabotaging our success, and replacing it with this monkey mind magic makeover, which lives within those 7 superpowers. Yeah. So it's all about that. And that's the vehicle, but the way I deliver that is through a program that I offer, which is also called the Monkey Mind Magic Makeover, through retreats. So I do a retreat every quarter. So every 90 days, I do a retreat, which also follows this framework. My coaching that I do follows this framework. And everything that I do is actually, the vehicle is still those 7 superpowers that I teach. And look, the thing is that we're always mastering them. So it's not like you learn them and then you've just got them forever. We have to keep going back and growing and learning and mastering. Yeah.
It's beautiful, Vickie. I love that. And so I'm just looking at your notes here, and it's, the question was, what do you know to be true and believed to be amazing about being an aging woman? And one of your notes is that you've written that you can truly and fully be your authentic self. I love that. So can you share with us what that means for you?
Look, I think that when we get to a certain age, that we kind of speak our truth more. We kind of live into that authentic version of who we really are. And we get to an age or a stage where finally we stop caring what people think of us. We're finally, and Oprah actually said it first, or at least I heard it first from Oprah. She may have heard it from someone else. There's no original thoughts, I think.
Yes.
But, you know, she said when she finally got that what people thought of her was none of her business, that it gave her the freedom to be who she really was, and to stop trying to live into that expectation of, oh, you know, people expect me to be this, or people want me to say this or not say this or the other thing. So for me, it was a really superpower that I actually am now fully able to be that true, authentic version of me. And look, the honest truth is sometimes I too doubt myself, and sometimes I do go back into that caring what people think of me, and oh, I better not say that, or I better not do that. You know, we were talking earlier about doing lives. For me, I still do sometimes have the fear of going live. What if I muck up? What if I say the wrong thing? What if people don't like me? What if people don't watch me? What if people da-da-da-da-da-da? And we all do it, but I now do it less. And so the older I get, the more that I think, again, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of, you know, the time that is left ahead of me is getting less. And so I better just be me. I better just be authentic Vickie. And you know what? Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are not even going to give a damn. But the real truth is that if I'm just being true to me, and if I'm just absolutely 100% authentic, I think that at the end of the day, people love that. And people want that for themselves as well, because a lot of people are so busy being concerned about what people will think of them. A lot of people are so busy being that people pleaser that they please everyone else on the planet, but they don't please themselves. They don't actually put themselves first. They don't actually give themselves that self-care that they really, really, really want and need, because other people come first. For some people, it's their children that come first. For some people, it's their partner that comes first. For some people, it's their friends that come first. But until and unless we actually put ourselves first, we can't be fully present for others.
No,
absolutely. So it's really important that we start being that true and authentic version of ourselves.
Yeah, there's an absolute freedom around that for sure. And I hear you completely on that. And yes, we do default back to that worry, concern, you know, because we need to be able to do that, because it's that, you know, little bit of self-coaching. Oh, did I step over the line there? Did I, you know, that's okay to do that. But I think calling yourself out more often, as you step into that authenticity is, you know, you just become your own filter, don't you?
We are never going to be perfect. Like, I don't want someone
and what is that?
Yeah, what is that even? But I don't want people to look at me and go, oh, look at her, she's perfect. She's always happy. She's always this. She's always confident. She's always, because you know what? I'm not. Sometimes I doubt myself. Sometimes I'm not happy. Sometimes I'm not loud and proud and confident. Sometimes I'm actually a little mess on the floor in the kitchen, you know, because I'm human. But I think that the reality is that the older I get, the quicker I get up off the floor. Yeah. And that does come down to really reminding myself not to worry what people think of me, really reminding myself that the person that matters the most, what they think of me, is the person that I look at in the mirror in the morning. And if she's good, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely, Vickie. That's wonderful. And just on that, like that, you were saying a moment ago, worrying about what people think. And I see this a lot in my older clients. So I've got a high demographic of, you know, 65 to 75, that age group that have retired, and their lives are actually got smaller. So this is this, you know, if we can encourage women as they get older like you to actually expand and make your life bigger, whatever that is for you, fun, whatever, business, you're passionate about business, I'm passionate about business. You know, it doesn't have to be business. It can be whatever you're passionate about. It can be, you know, charity. But to keep expanding yourself, keep developing your skills is so important for our self-confidence and the stepping into that person that we truly are, the authentic person. Because it's when we shrink and, you know, we start becoming scared of the world. And that's just going back to what I was saying about my older clients. That's what I see a lot of. Their circles got smaller, and they have that. Look, my studio at Purdue, my studio, I'm really proud of the community stuff that goes out of my studio, as in coffee groups.
Yeah.
You know, almost every class has a coffee group, and I'm always teasing the ladies. You don't come here for Pilates, you just come here for coffee and cake.
Yeah.
But you know, they're like I said, they're mostly older, and they'll all sort of mostly, you won't say all, mostly are very agree with each other. There's that trying to please, what you're going back to what you were saying, that they all want to be pleasing of each other and all not offend each other. And not that, you know, I'm about offending people, but I love stirring them up and going in there and having a complete polarity opposite view about the world.
Yep.
Just to push a few buttons, just to help, just to expand thinking.
Yep.
No other reason other than, and that's, I think, part of our coaching work is that, you know, we can poke and prod, for want of a better word, to help elevate people.
Yeah.
You know, do you relate to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is really important as people do get older, and, you know, anybody listening to this that is feeling that their life is getting smaller and that there's less and less people in
it's
it.
Not necessarily a number, it's just what I was talking about, a demographic. Sorry.
No, but it doesn't matter what the number is too. There'll be people at 45 that are feeling like their life is getting smaller too. So it's not about a number. But I think that it is really important that we make sure that we are connecting with people, and that we make sure that we're connecting with joy, and that we're connecting with things that we love to do. And it doesn't matter what age we are, that we just make sure that we are expanding that joy and the things that we want to do more of. And I think a lot of it is about connection, and finding connection with people, like-minded people, like your coffee groups, that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, a running group. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can actually be a coffee group, and it can be, like, for example, the retreats that I do every 90 days. A lot of the women that come to that, and of course there's also the learning and the growing that they get through the facilitation of the superpowers work that I do. But a lot of those women come for the connection of that like-minded, non-judgmental women, supporting women and helping women. And I think that we need to really lift women up in that way, you know, rather than there's enough people out there putting each other down. What if we could be a stand for lifting each other up? What if we could be a stand for supporting each other and congratulating each other and complimenting each other and really encouraging each other to be more, do more, you know, really make more of ourselves and our lives. And I think that that's a really important thing at any age for women as we get older, to really ask ourselves the question, you know, rather than criticizing someone that we see on social media that maybe doesn't look the way we think they should, or doesn't talk the way we think they should, or doesn't say the words that we think they should. Just encourage them for their backbone of even putting themselves out there, because that's not easy, you know. So I think we really need to be a stand as women, and look, men too, of just encouraging and supporting and going, well done for giving that a go. Whether you succeeded, whether you didn't succeed, well done. I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think women do that. We do that pretty well as well.
On the most part, but not all.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
A little bit of a nurturing side to us, but yes, there's certainly...
You know, sometimes we even catch ourselves criticizing someone. What the hell are they doing that for? Who do they think they are? And then we have to catch ourselves and go, oh, actually, maybe they're just trying to make a difference in the world with what they know.
Yeah, what's that one? Every time we point that way, there's 4 coming back.
Yeah, like that. It's coming back at us. Yeah.
Look, before we wind up, Vickie, just sort of on that subject, society and society views. How do you think, you know, women, the society views the aging woman now versus, you know, we know it's changed, just generally speaking?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I'm of the belief that society view aging women more and more with respect. I think that, like, for example, my husband goes out of his way to speak to older people, not just women, but people.
Yeah.
And his reason is they're filled with knowledge, you know, and I think that society does look at women as they're getting older for insights, for education, for information, for all of that inspiration as well. And I think that you and I and people like us, we get to actually be a role model for the younger ones coming through. So I think that people look at us and go, wow, 60, that's amazing. And, you know, still doing this, still doing that, still have an amazing life, still filled with energy, still filled with possibility. And so I know that some people think that people don't respect older people, and there's probably a big portion of the population that maybe don't. But I do think that more and more and more society is viewing age as wisdom. You know, one of the things that I have, and a lot of people that know me, is the owl. And so the owl for me is, and the reason that it's here on my hand is it's an anchor. And it's an anchor to remind me of my inner wisdom and that wisdom of knowing, and we know so much. And I think that as we get older, that people look at us for that wisdom and want us to share it with them. So I think that, you know, as our birthright, we should share that wisdom and really, I really do think that society sees us as wisdom and want us to share that wisdom with them.
Yeah, lovely. And that's a perfect round up to our session today, because that's really how we started with the lives, drawing on women and wisdom. And it's been an absolute pleasure today, Vickie, to hear your wisdom. Thank you very much for sharing that.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me and inviting me on.
Yeah, no, absolutely awesome. And I look forward to sharing and hearing more about your upcoming retreats and what have you. So we shall say goodbye now.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Day.
Thanks, Sandra.
Bye.
Bye.